TV.
Welcome to another session and episode of Business Conversation, Agribiz. That's what we are all about every day, 8 to 5, 8 to 8, 8 to 9. That's what we do. I'm Odipo G, and as always with me, Kanyarati and Abayo. Today we are looking at something that's fairly interesting in my opinion. We've mentioned it in the subsequent shows when we did avocado, when we did rosemary. We touched on it and we thought, hey, this one can actually be an entity on its own. We're going to look at the opportunities available in the drying value chain for fruits and vegetables. Because one of the things that we have a lot of is post-harvest losses. That's too much. It's too much. Every single season, whenever there is an excess of something, literally every single season, there is always waste. And that waste can be monetized. And it can be monetized greatly. And that's why we'll just touch on it, look into how we can be able to look into the market. What does the market look like? The difference between a market and a sector, because the biggest headache when it comes to, or one of the biggest headaches when it comes to selling, it's always, or rather agribusiness, it's always market. It's always market. So we'll touch on that at some given point, and we'll see how we go from there and what we can be able to learn exactly from the opportunities available in the value chain when it comes to drying. So gentlemen, karibuni sana. Kanyarati, Nick, good to have you guys. Good to have you guys around. We have noted, like, when this was about 4 months ago, when there were no tomatoes in the market. And then as the M-Pesa syndrome goes, or the quail system goes, everyone 4 months ago planted tomatoes. And the other day we saw people literally begging people to buy tomatoes
because they created a glut.
Because they created a glut, and there was a lot of waste. And this happens with every single season, religiously. We never fail, whenever when it comes to such.
As good as tomorrow going to be day.
Same. So I just sat down and thought, can something be done? Something can be done. Because when you dehydrate things, the way we have been dehydrating our products, we realize that the only thing that you remove is the moisture content. But the nutritional value,
it remains the same.
Same.
Completely.
And some products you can be able to rehydrate.
Yes.
By just soaking them in water for a few minutes. Yeah. And it goes back to A1. So I wanted us to look at some of the African leafy vegetables, from the Kundes to the Tereres to the Managus to the Saga, and then we'll also touch on mango. Because season is coming.
It's already
season is
slowly. October is coming soon.
You need to
season ya kamba.
Yes, you need to be nice to the kambas. You need to be nice. To be nice to your kamba friends, because the season is coming, and as Kanyarati has said, as tomorrow is going to be day, there is going to be an excess. There is going to be a glut. Yes. So it's very good for people to start thinking of what to do. In that particular when that particular season comes. So what have you guys seen in relation to the opportunities available in the drying value chain? Nick brings in the cash. All of us get a percentage. Yeah. And your percentage will be higher than if you would have sold that product raw, or if you have sold that product directly.
Yes.
You see? So partnerships like that is what now people need to start thinking about, because the other reason as to why also people don't engage so much when it comes to value addition is when you farm something in your farm and then it grows, it's very easy for you to be 100% beneficiary of all the profits. It's very easy. Yeah. But when it comes to value addition, there are entities that you need to partner with in order for that product to be relevant to the market. Mm-hmm. Many people prefer the aspect of they want to eat alone.
I don't think it's eating alone. Like I said, you've assumed first that these guys know all this story.
No, I'm
And
talking about the guy who knows.
Okay.
I'm talking about that person.
But okay,
who
let
knows.
me play. You see whatever you've said. Let me play it this way.
Yes.
We are in Kitale. 99% of us are growing maize.
Yes.
Okay, there is one of the companies making unga. Okay, nowadays unga is the easiest thing to make.
And so many guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying is we find somebody who markets and all that. Why don't we encourage community projects such that the community group in Kitale that's growing maize produces Kitale unga? Okay, one, they'll get more. Two, they'll be assured of market. And three, they will actually encourage each other when it comes to variety and quality. You see, so the community in Kitale decides, okay, we have 20 farmers here. Let's assume Kitale has a population of 350,000 people. Okay, we have 20 farmers who are feeding 350,000 people. If you extrapolate it, we're talking about an average of each family consuming 5 kilograms by every 2 weeks of unga. Isn't this community?
You're going to say per person.
No, depending. I won't be.
Depends where you come from, but we'll go down that direction.
Yeah. I was very cautious there because I didn't want to offend Odipo. So, when you produce this and you sell it to your community, the whole aspect of brokers is cut.
Yes.
You see, because we are sure our product has a market.
So there's power in consolidation.
There's power in
In
consolidation.
fact, that's if someone can get, in fact, that's all those guys do. And you saw clearly when I talked to you about the avocado. Yeah. It was simply, I come with my truck and my guys. They are told that is the tree. They climb, they remove, they cut, remove. Then they agree. This sack of avocados
this
is
looks
how much?
like a G.
Is 1,000 shillings I take.
This looks like.
He goes to the next farm. That's what they're doing. Instead of, at that point, I can see there's an element. Now, that's of ignorance and a little laziness. Because that farmer should be asking himself, why is this guy the only one collecting? Why don't we agree as several, 4, 5 farmers? We hire a pickup, we collect, we seek, one person goes out and seeks the market and come. But I keep saying, people don't know better. You need to ask yourself, because nani ndiye anajua, mimi sijui, hata hii niko nayo nitapeleka wapi? So they grow it, next stage they don't think. So even asking, but consolidation, it worked very well for a long time when farmers were doing cooperatives, especially in Central. Those cooperatives for coffee and tea were amazing. But we know our challenges. You get in there, you want to eat the whole system. You want to eat the whole cow. Even the cow with the milk, you want to eat it all. My point is, there are ingrained things that are, but now people need to think again how to get back to those days. I think that's the key. If we open that door again, things can actually change for the better.
You've actually touched on market, and one of the things I've come to find out when you're looking at agribusiness and agro-processing, this one I got from, I think it was Jack Ma, and the whole concept of Alibaba. Alibaba looked at the world as their market, and then production center is China. Yeah, so the world is your market. And I've come to realize that I actually adapted that, and we started looking at the world as the market, and slowly but surely we are coming up, we already have a product that can be exported. We already have a product that can be exported because we looked at the world as our market. The challenge comes in when people look at a sector and not an industry. There's a difference. For instance, let me see. We have the hotel sector and we have a hotel industry. So how I thought about it is a hotel sector is, let's look at the hotel sector in terms of food, in terms of agriculture. What do we think of? Kitchen. It's a section of the hotel that uses the products that I am planting. Yes? But so, as, let me say I'm a rosemary farmer, yes? If I look at the hotel sector, I will think of how the chef will need rosemary to flavor food, whatnot, and all that, garnish everything. If I look at the hotel industry, I'll think something bigger. I'll think hotels need sanitizers. Yes? We have to wash hands, whatnot, and everything. Hotels need aesthetics in terms of beauty. Rosemary, small leaves, they're easy to shape. You know, it looks very nice. Okay? Hotels have, let's look at how you can be able to chase away. We were talking about the other day when we were talking about rosemary, flies, whatnot, and all that. You see, you think about something like that, you know. So when you start thinking of, and you can even produce green dye, okay, from rosemary, by boiling rosemary. You know, this can be used on fabrics for decorations, whatnot, and everything. So you see, I have thought of the hotel rosemary, but I have thought of the hotel rosemary in terms of the industry, not just a sector. And many times where we fail as those who are getting into farming, we think of sectors. We narrow our thinking to just sectors, you know. For instance, your friend for lemon. One of the things that you can also sit down, and I usually encourage guys to do, is think about your primary sectors, our food industry, okay? But then we have chemical. This can be used in various aspects of chemical, you know. One of the things that I'm also very big on is if you can be able to plant a product that is used in the cosmetic world.
Yeah, you're through.
Okay, I think, gentlemen, we had said this. We were talking about our market. Let's do our specific focus on dried fruit.
Yes, dried fruits.
Because Jackson has an idea of where we can take dried fruit. So where?
Okay. Now, what it is this: I think the biggest challenge many of us do is start with the unknown. No, what we should do is start with the unknown. Understand what the market needs, then adapt the world, what you're producing for, because they'll only buy what they need. Now, I had the opportunity to understand and go through things, because let me tell you, when we say things like apples, garlic, guava, sweet potatoes, banana, you name it, you know, it is an industry on its own. For example, I've heard so many stories about the Kisii, the way the banana is going to waste. Bananas, yeah. It's a story that has been talked. They were supposed to. I don't know whether I may be ignorant. I don't know whether the factory. But the thing is, there are a lot of things that are going to waste because we have not decided to even move one step. Because even one step called drying,
it's good enough.
Is good enough.
Yes.
One step. All you do is after that, you just slice them up, dry, and that's it. You say, may I have dried bananas? It's one step which is big, because you don't even need to roast them. You don't even need to make crisps with them. Let whoever wants to make crisps just buy his bulk and go and make banana crisps. So it's a thing which in my mind tells me clearly that we need to, and more so because when I looked at one product called mango is, wait, and the season is coming. At the beginning, everyone, especially in Nairobi, is selling those mangoes. They look at you and they tell this one is 30. Yeah, I know. They don't even negotiate. And it's the mama mboga or whatever. She's 30. She's not bulging. She's not moving. Then she tells you, this is a smaller size. It's 25. This one is 20. She even goes to 15 and 10. My point is this: the farmer has been paid one price.
Standard.
It was not based on size. There was no scientific understanding of what she was paying. Then after that, of course, there are many who say, you say, no, I'm not going to sell, that price is too low, because you're thinking, or you say, I'll take what you give me, just let me take these goods out of my hands. Now, what I understood clearly is that the things that really matter when it comes to the farmer is, one, the harvest time is not really long. A few months, that. Then there's limited storage. Where do you store? And if you store, how are you preserving them as you store them? Then there's the issue of transportation. It's not an easy product to transport. You need a truck, you need a canter and all that kind of things. And also, it's a source of livelihood. No, people, farmers, we don't see their, when you're eating, if you don't see their source of livelihood. Now, beyond that, there are so many things that you can do with this product. You can make pickles, which is very common. And let me tell you, and I did my little research. India is the biggest producer of mangoes in the world. They produce 120 something metric tons of what is processed. The rest, they produce more than 1 million tons, metric tons. But you can see what is processed is only that. It's still a small portion. But the thing is, you can do, out of that, you can get canned or frozen. You can do puree. You can produce juice. You can you can produce a concentrate. You can get a powder, which is used in so many other things. Then you start asking yourself, so why hasn't the farmer even thought, you know what, why do I struggle? But one of the big things now that has come to me is understanding that getting partnerships is one of the best way for this industry to move. Even the Makueni factory is still not doing enough.
They're doing puree.
It's puree. They're not doing anything beyond puree. In as much as, because concentrate is big. And concentrate, you know, is just dried. It has no water in it and is not liquid at all. So you just go on and reconstitute it and becomes your product. But the thing is, mango concentrate is big. Eating mango is big. But do you know the European industry that receives mangoes, especially from Philippines, Malaysia, India, a little from Kenya, most of it is actually dried. Yes. Because even when it goes there, they can either process it by adding water and becomes something they can work on, or they collect the dry one. Then what do? They crush it and make it other products.
They use it now into
into other things. Now the thing is this: if you understand that thing, when it's picked, there are so many other things that you need to look at. How was it picked? Okay, it's grown. Let's assume it's grown. Of course, you have to grow the right what do you call
variety.
Variety for that purpose.
Yeah.
That purpose means that you have to pick what suits that market. You see, that's the research we keep saying. What I go and plant, I haven't thought it's a good one. I'm told it produces. It does. You have good seedlings, yes, and it grows. And you pick it. And what do you do? After that, now you start asking yourself what. But the thing is this: mango processing is not difficult. And people have used it with very simple, even what you call village processing systems can work. What you need is make sure when you harvest at the right time. You know, many of us just see, that's what I was saying, my relative used to be told climb the tree and just pick. Who cares? He's not interested in too many things. And when they're picked at the right time, avoid them touching the floor because of contamination. You cannot say the ones on the floor are still part of you. No. Because why? You want to ensure that your product has no contamination. You also need to make sure that they are free of pests and insects, everything. So make sure it's a good, clean fruit. After that, then you do into the process of saying, when you deliver it to the place where you're going to process them, for drying, for example, what you need to do is ensure that they are received in a way, and I'm sure Abayo knows that, you should never mix where they're received
with where
they're being processed.
Yeah.
So you produce that there, because then you can sort out what is good and bad. In fact, part of what I was told clearly was that even they should never get out of the car until you've ensured that the product you have passes the test. It may not always work, especially when the guy in his pickup has reached there, he's wondering, let me know, but it's a start. Receiving should never be contaminated. It should be you should consider it not clean. Then you move to the next stage. Next thing is clearing. The usual process, you have these things washed, they're dry, then they go through the process, they are de-peated, they are de-skinned. Then the next stage is just slicing, if you have the equipment. Now, if you don't, and you have a factory, or you don't even, a simple factory with people standing, you can actually just peel them by hand. Imagine.
And that's employment.
Employment. Peel by hand. But of course, you need to make sure that all the process is clean and certified. The knives are sharp, no rust on them, good quality, protected, your workers are well protected with PPEs that make sure they can't contaminate them, and stuff like that. After that, they are cut. You cut them into slices that make sense. You have to ensure that what thickness is important. Why? You don't want to waste a lot of energy drying and using higher energy.
When it's too thick.
It's too thick, it's too thick. So you need to make sure you have the right slices. Then also, something as simple as the direction in which you slice them is important. Dip it, throw everything, slice them nicely, put them on the tray, then you put them in a dryer. You could use what we call the simple drying sun technique of drying.
Yes.
You must. you can move them another stage, which is also not ridiculously expensive. Solar can be used to improve the fastness of drying,
Yes.
the speed of drying. So after that, you have a product which is there. It's dry. So now what?
Why don't you do this? Next time I'm here, we come with some samples of something.
We should.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah,
Some of our products.
I agree.
Yeah.
And you know what? What happens now? Guys, you have to ask yourself, now, am I going to package them? Or am I going to dry them further by crushing them? All these are the options you have. All they have done is remove the water. And I think we've agreed. All you need to do is pick that dried mango and just chew it. It's the same, the taste is the same. Of course, there are several stages. To ensure that you need to blanch them. Warm water, 80 to 90 degrees, so that you retain the color, and they don't. There's a process called not dehydration. No. So they can retain the color and the texture. Once you retain the color and texture, then you know it's either going as a fruit that is dried, or you want to crush it further into a powder.
Into something else.
Yes.
And you know the most interesting thing about, one of the things I love about tomatoes, mangoes, is you can do quite a number of things with it.
I know.
I have seen mango leather.
Yes.
Literally from the skin.
Yes.
There's leather to be made. Then the core.
The seed.
The seed itself, yes, the seed, thank you. The seed has a core inside, okay? That seed is used when it comes to purification of water. Yes, yeah, the seed is used in purification of water, and then the core of the seed is a soft white thing. I don't know if you've ever opened a mango seed.
Yeah, there's that seed.
Is it grey or white?
It's white.
Depends,
It's white.
Depends on
the mango, baby.
Mango.
Yeah, I've seen the white ones. It's actually used to make mango butter. You know the way you have cocoa butter? It's actually used to make mango butter. So that's just from one product. You know, you can be able to come up with all those.
Leave now. Now, one of the things that is big, and you don't realize it, one of the biggest products internationally is called jam.
And you can make jam
It
from
is the
practically...
biggest use of dried mangoes.
Oh, really? Mango?
Yes, mango jam. Imagine.
Process of making mango jam is just the same as...
It's the same. At that level now, of course, there are other things you have to think now beyond that.
Yes.
But at that level, it's the biggest use of mangoes in the international market.
And you know
mango jam.
And that's exact, you use the same exact equipment. For instance, if you're drying mango, if you're doing the Kunde Terere Managu, Sukuma Wiki.
It's the same equipment.
Yes, another thing as we just close in a few minutes, when you think of market, it is also good to read the times.
Yes.
You know, that's why we've talked about the lemon and the corona time that we're in. They can be a very good seller. And probably for the next 8 to 9 months, anything that can be able to prevent a cold, a flu, you know, is actually sellable.
So in essence, we are saying all fruits today, we are being encouraged with a lot of oranges.
Yes.
Avocado is on top of that list. Exactly. Some which are supposed to be alkaline, things like avocado. Then you have bananas which have high concentrate of iron and such thing, and zinc. So I mean, look at it, vitamin D.
And we have them in plenty.
We have them in plenty.
We have them in plenty.
This is the season to look at this thing now and ask us, you know what? I think even as we talk here and have this conversation, agriculture has been looked at from a totally different perspective.
I was hurt the other day. I saw an article on the Daily Nation calling farming an odd job.
People have resulted
to odd jobs, like farming. I was like,
on the roadside is becoming.
I mean, it's somebody somewhere sat as an editor of a newspaper and called farming an odd job. Yet the government recognizes it as an essential service.
It was
I mean, I actually felt offended. I almost walked there. But anyway, what you said is there's market for everything.
There's market literally for
So long
everything.
as,
a lot of market for everything.
So long as
There's
you're a
a lot of
farmer,
market for
never look at yourself as feeding just your house.
Not a sector.
Yeah.
Think of an industry.
There's so much that your produce can do. what we just need to encourage before Kanyarati finishes is we need to encourage people to do more and more research and have people plug into different produce.
Yes, and partnerships.
Yeah.
Partnerships
like
are
if you're
very
doing,
important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we're doing, I'm shocked about mango jam. I'm never a fan of jam, but now I'm hearing this mango jam. Yet I love so much mangoes. You see, so what we can do is now I go get mango jam, sell it. I kid you not, I'll sell more than I can. You see, when it comes to anything food, what I always tell guys is you will never meet the demand.
You can't.
Because the demand you meet today, tomorrow is the same demand.
If you're creating something for one person,
Yes.
this person will talk.
Yes.
Tomorrow it won't be one. It will be like 3 guys. So there's a multiplier effect when it comes to matters agriculture. So what you just need to do is encourage guys. I mean, you have mangoes. Okay, good thing is the mango season is coming. We can try. Let's go get a few mangoes, like a ton.
Do the process and see how it works.
In fact, I think, in fact, that's what I agree. I agree with you totally. I think we must apply ourselves this. And I'll tell you something else. You see, there's this, the Chinese said we are willing and ready to receive our what? Avocado. Of course, they want it frozen. When it gets there frozen, it's so much, they don't need to do anything to it. You don't even, it's just blanching them in the concentrate, freezing them at a high temperature with nitrogen, and your product is ready to be eaten as soon as you remove it from packaging. It is the same thing with the mango also. It's one of the best things we can do for this country is also starting to do frozen export of products. Why? Because it even reduces what you need to process. If you're a bit lazy, like Mr. Odipo here said, since some of us are a bit lazy, we can do 1 stage or 2 stages. And it'll be ready for the market.
Either way, find a place to fit it.
Yes.
Because
So we should not look at drying as just a by the way. It is the beginning of how we can improve and increase the value of our products.
It is an essential service.
It is so, without it, most products can't move.
yeah. So what we need to do is, I love what we're doing, but at the end of the day, let's encourage guys to find their space. We all cannot do drying because there's somebody who wants to eat a mango the way it is raw. Okay, just find your space. There's somebody who wants mango juice. There's somebody who wants, everybody wants something. But find your space, create your niche, and there's always market for everything.
That's true. When even now, too bad. I told you time goes too fast when we're here. When it comes to learning how to look at what's in the market, you'll know what to find. That's one. Then we've talked about partnerships. It's very important to have partnerships. You know, where you get this, I get this, we get this, we blend together. Even if I get 10% of 10 million, it's better than 100% of 10,000. You know, so at the end of the day, partnerships are very, very key. Look at industries, not just a sector. Think industry. You know, Kanyarati has mentioned quite a number of uses of just mango, of just one product. You know, so when you think about it like that, you are looking at it in terms of what else can be done with this product. The only thing we know can be done about, let's say, kunde, is eating the leaves. What do you call kunde in English? You call them?
Kundesta.
No. You call them something peas. Cowpeas.
Cowpeas.
Yeah, you call them cowpeas. So, and many people actually don't know.
But kunde is kunde.
But kunde,
No, there's no English
you can
name
do
of
the
kunde.
leaves. You can do the peas when they come out, and seeds of kunde are actually used to make some sort of poison.
But who wants poison?
One of these chemical poisons. The seed is actually for kunde.
I've got a product which you will not believe when I did a little research. When you're walking through a shamba that has been dug, and what do you get? There's something that sticks to it. Blackjack has high oxidant, characteristics. It is so valuable. In fact, they're saying just pick that, put them in tea and boil. Can you imagine? Guys, blackjack.
Put in tea.
You'll boil it, you'll drink it. You're drinking all the qualities. Imagine.
Don't keep.
It's killing me.
My point is this. You see, my point is this. Many of us are not researching and trying to find out what else we can do.
What else can be done?
You'd be surprised the kind of things, especially in the East.
Yes.
China, India, Indonesia. The products they take.
What they've
That
discovered.
we take for granted. Them it's normal how
Actually,
we
this program is really helpful, just as we wind up. Because there's somebody who's been watching and listening. I know they'll watch this on too. When you talked about avocado and avocado plastics, there are companies that currently are doing avocado oil. And they've discovered that from this show, their waste can go into making
something.
avocado plastics.
10%. Yes.
and I get 5% of the 10, so that you guys can share that.
Yeah, so they called me. They actually sent me a link of whatever. It's them who sent me as a forward. So I was like, oh, so this thing is impactful. So they called me to the office and we sat down. They were like, yes, we listened to you guys and we're already in the process of securing funding to do avocado plastic.
Good. So when it comes to, now that we've come to the end, when it comes to African leafy vegetables and it comes to fruits, think of industry, not sector. Think what else can be done. Drying is very easy. Thank God we have been blessed with sun all through the year. Drying is very easy, especially now that we're in August. Our winter has ended. Our 60-day winter has ended, which is June, July. And then we start now. Sun that comes with its cousins and relatives. The mango season is coming. Utilize. You can dry this stuff. You can powder it. Once you powder it, it is up to your imagination on what you can do with it. In various industries, in various sectors. I hope that you'll be able to come up with a few testimonials on what you have been able to do with the hot sun that is going to come out in a few weeks' time. And we can be able to share and continue looking into this industry, looking into agribusiness, looking into agro-processing, looking into what we can be able to do, what more can you be able to do, because that's what the show is all about. We usually look at what more can you be able to do once the product is out of the farm. And clearly, there is so much more that we can be able to do, and we'll be looking at it as time goes by. Thank you very much for tuning in. Odipo, Kanyarati, and Abayo. God bless.